events of a story. When someone asks you, how was your weekend? They want you to simply tell them the most interesting and important things you did. Okay. So they don't care that you had a shower. Okay. That's something you do every day. They don't care that you had a sandwich for lunch. What they do care about is if it's in some way different. So, for example, I had lunch with a girl, I had a date. That would be interesting. Okay. So, if somebody asks me, how was your Saturday? Then I can tell them I went to the pub, I met my friend, and we had a meal. Those were the interesting things that I did. Okay. It's also used when you're writing a story or even telling a story when you are saying what someone said. So let's have a look at some examples. I went to the pub, that's a main event. And hello, said my friend. Okay, so whenever you are writing a conversation between two people, this part here is going to be in the past simple. Mostly it's going to be said, but it could also be shouted, whispered, things like that. Okay, so but the verb is always going to be in the past simple. In terms of the structure of a sentence, it's subject plus verb to. So if you're not familiar with what I mean by verb to, then let's take this one. It's meet, met, met. So this is the infinitive or the present. Verb to is the past simple, and verb three is what we call the past participle. Okay, I have met. All right, so we're using the verb to. I met my friends. For the negative, you are using didn't and the infinitive, the verb one. So I met my friend, but I didn't meet my mother. If you are asking questions, there are two possible questions you can ask. Did you meet your friend? So start with did. And here you've got again the infinitive or the verb one. And this is what we call a yes or no question. The answer to the question is going to be yes, I did, or no, I didn't. The other type of question is what I call a WH question. So it's starting with who, what, when, where, why, or how. And that gives a bigger answer. So, did you meet your friend? Yes, I did. Who did you meet? I met my friend Martin, for example. Okay, now from the grammar side of things, that's everything you need to know about the past simple. However, there is also some pronunciation that we need to have a look at, especially with what we call regular verbs. Now, in my example here, we had went, met, and had. They are irregular verbs. Okay, a regular verb is one that we add ed to the end of. Okay, for example, play. Today I play, yesterday I played. Today I jump, yesterday I jumped. Okay, and there are three different possible pronunciations of ed. Okay, let's start with the easy one, which is when we add an extra sound. We add the word or the sound id. This is when the last sound of your verb is a T or a D. Okay, so for example, want, final sound is a T, so it becomes wanted. Notice though, it's sounds, not letters. All right, so The final letter of the word invite is an E, but the final sound is a T. So invite becomes invited, 3 syllables. It's the same with D. So land becomes landed, and decide becomes decided. That's the easy bit. Now we come to the more difficult part. We can also pronounce ED as T or D. Now I'm going to give you 2 examples of this. Firstly, we've got this word and this word. Okay, what is the final sound in this word? It's an S. What is the final sound in this word? Close. It's a Z. So take your hands, do it now, and put it here, and copy me. Now, when you make this sound, there is no movement. But when you make this sound, you should be able to feel the vibration here. Okay, if there is nothing, we add T. So kiss becomes kissed. This is how we say it. Okay, so the ED is pronounced as a T, kissed. If there is a vibration, then we pronounce it like this, closed. Now that zd can be quite difficult. So if you are practicing, pronounce it very carefully, closed. With practice, you will be able to make that shorter. Let's do one more example. What is the final sound in this word? Laugh. And what is the final sound in this word? Love. Okay, so again, take your hand, copy me. So again, with the sound, there is nothing. So we say laughed. But with the sound, then it becomes loved. Now, there are many other sounds that you can fit into these 2 boxes. These are just 2 examples. But if you're not sure, make the sound and put your hand here. Okay, for example, open. You can feel it, so it has to become opened. Practice this as much as possible until you sound natural. A good way to do this is to practice reading a page of a book or a newspaper article out loud. You don't have to understand everything you're reading. This is a pronunciation activity. And that's it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you will join me again for the next one when we will be discussing the past continuous. Take care.